Hello everyone, my name is Lee Klotz and I am going to be showing you in this video how to connect Google Forms to Google Fusion tables to let users of your sites create interactive crowdsourced maps like this one. You can see for each of these place marks, when you click on them, you get the location, and these have all been user submitted in a way that is very easy for your users, but also very useful to you as a site admin or to share with folks who may want to know about what your user base looks like. We're going to do this with a complete Google stack. We're going to start with Google Forms, let users input their location in free text with Google Forms. That will populate into a Google spreadsheet. We'll use Google Apps scripts to bring that content and sync it up with a Google Fusion table, which will give us this map or a heat map. We have that option as well. So once your content is in Fusion tables, you can do all kinds of cool stuff with it, but the syncing can be a little bit tricky. So that's what this video is here to help you learn to do. This information is documented on the Google developer site, although the script that is currently posted with the Google developer site, and this is about the 14th of September in 2014, doesn't do exactly what it says it does. Specifically, you lose the named place marks. So when someone clicks, they don't actually get the names with the script that, as of this writing, is posted. So I have a modified version of that script, a forked version of that script, which I will share with you when the time comes. It's posted on my GitHub section. So let's go ahead and get started. To start, you will just need a plain Jane Google Drive account. Any one will do. You do get, as part of your Google account, 25,000 API calls to the Google services a day, which is quite generous. For most sites, that should be more than sufficient. If you need more than that, you probably need a commercial product. But for a free service, this is pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and do the easy thing first. Let's create the form that users are going to use to actually input their content. So we'll go to New and More in Google Forms, and we'll give our form a name. We'll call it Location Responses. We'll have a question title of Where Are You Located? Now, the Google geocoding service that this process will use is similar to, or the same one that Google Maps uses. So someone could put in anything from Paris, France, to Atlanta, Georgia, USA, to a country name. So the geocoder will try its best to figure out from what the user types in what location they're talking about. I like to give them a little help text to have some examples. So we'll say, e.g., Atlanta, Georgia, USA, or Paris, France. We don't want them putting in their full address. In my case, I almost never would want that, although that would work too if you ever wanted to. So we'll change question type to text. We'll make it required because this form doesn't do a whole lot of good without it. We'll come down, and we don't want them submitting more than once. And in the confirmation page, we'll say, your response has been recorded. Please enter your location data only once. It may take a few moments to appear on the map. Because the syncing process can occasionally take, usually not more than 30 to 60 seconds, but if someone were sitting there getting impatient, they could be inclined to submit more than once. Next, let's come up to View Responses. You can see here, it's populated that content to a spreadsheet. It may ask you if you want to put it into a spreadsheet. If it does, just say use a new spreadsheet, because that's definitely what you want. But once you have it, you can see here. I'm going to keep all of these different elements open in different tabs, because there will be times that you will want to use the different areas to make sure they all connect properly. I'm going to go ahead and also view the live form, and let's go ahead and put in a location. We'll just say Charleston, South Carolina. And we get our confirmation, and what we should see in our spreadsheet is the timestamp and that information, which is great. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into my Google Drive. I'm going to make a new. I'm going to come down to More, and you can see I already have Google Fusion tables appearing. If you don't see that, all you have to do is come to Connect More Apps and do a search for Fusion Tables, and it will show up. But since I have it already, it's already there. You'll see this is listed as of this writing as an experimental feature. That means that Google is changing it, modifying it, updating it all the time. So if this is something which is a mission critical application, you're really going to have to keep an eye on it to make sure that nothing changes that will break your application. They do occasionally change some of the API functionality, and you wouldn't want that to upend you. In my case, though, this is just kind of a nice to have, so I don't mind if I have to really keep an eye on it. So I'm going to say create a new Fusion table. It's going to start the Fusion Table interface. It will ask where you want to import Fusion Table from. I'm going to say Google Spreadsheets. I'm going to select my location responses spreadsheet that I had before. Sometimes you'll see an error here, like a 502 error, but usually if you go back and try it again, it will work just fine. I'll next it, come in, we can leave all of this with its defaults, and then say finish. The way to think about Fusion Tables is that they really are like a database that let you pull in data into the Fusion table and do interesting things with it. You can combine Fusion Tables, you can combine different types of data from different places and pull it all in together and then present it in useful ways. One of those ways happens to be a map, which is the way we're going to do it. So we have this timestamp, and then we have this where you located information that came from our spreadsheet. Now, this was an import, not a sync. So we're going to have to put in a script that will actually handle doing the syncing of that information once we add new content to the spreadsheet. If we added content to the spreadsheet now, the Fusion table would not be updated. So what we want to do is add a new column into the spreadsheet. Add column, and I'm going to call that column location. And this is going to be a type of location. And then we'll come down and we will save. So now we should have a third column. The Fusion Tables application will actually do real-time geocoding on cities, state, countries inputted here. I don't like to do that because if you get thousands of data points, it seems likely that that would slow the application down. So what we're going to do is put in a script that will put in the geolocation coordinates at import time, at sync time, and that way the map will work off of those coordinates, which should be faster. To be honest, I haven't done the stopwatch test to see if it actually is faster, but reasonably speaking, it should be faster to plot longitude and latitude coordinates versus looking them up and then plotting them. So we're going to have a script that actually does that lookup at sync time. Now we need to get the ID of this Fusion table. Every table has a unique identifier, and we want to grab that so that we can tell the script, and the script is going to be attached to our spreadsheet, and we want to tell that spreadsheet that this is the ID of the Fusion table that we're pushing data into. So to get that, I come to File, and About This Table, and you'll see this long ID here. So I grab that, I copy it, and I'm done. And then I'm going to come back into my spreadsheet. And we're going to start a Google Apps script project. And the script is the technology, the language, the script that's going to sync everything up. So let's go ahead and come into Tools, Script Editor. That will start up the Google Apps script product. We want to say create a blank project. And now we have a blank project. I'm just going to go ahead and name it Sync Script. Okay. So now we need to tell this script where the document is that we want to sync to. Remember, this script is attached to our spreadsheet, so it knows the spreadsheet. It doesn't know the Fusion table. So I'm going to come in to File, Project Properties, and Script Properties, and I'm going to add 3 properties. One is called Doc ID, and that is this very long ID of that table. Next, I'm going to add a new property, and that's going to be address column. And that's going to be the column here where the address is actually located. And it's easiest just to copy it out of here. It should be the same since it was imported. So in my case, it's called where are you located. So I'm just going to say the address column is where are you located. And the last row I'm going to need is lat long column, and the caps are important. And that should be this last column that I added called location. And that's where this script is going to put the longitude and latitude information once we have geocoded it. So we say save, and we're good to go there. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and grab the script to make all the syncing work. I'm going to open up a new tab, and there is a GitHub, again, where I put my version of the script. Google's version of the script is out there. If you just look up in Google, synchronizing Fusion tables and Google Forms, you'll find this process laid out for you in text. But if you go to my GitHub, you can grab this script, which again, as of this writing, works a little better than the Google script does. And we just grab this whole thing. And it's a GitHub under Clots called Google Forms to Fusion Tables. I'm going to come back and replace the content of the script with my script. And I'll save it. So next we need to enable the two services to talk to one another. And we do that by coming up to Resources and Advanced Google Services. You can see it's also experimental. We come down to Fusion Tables API, turn that on, and you'll see it says this service must also be enabled in the Google Developers Console. So let's go ahead and do that. We click there, and if we come down to Fusion Tables API, we turn it on. You'll see here your quota for the number of requests you have today, and if you need more, they let you request more. But that's all we need to do there, and that's all we need to do there. The libraries for your project have been successfully updated. That's what we want to see. So there's a method in this script library called check authorization that does nothing except run. And the act of running causes it to confirm with you that you authorize it to run. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Go to check authorization and hit the run button. And it will run that function. It will say this app needs authorization to run. You confirm it. It should open up this pop-up. It will tell you what it would like to do. It says it wants to manage Fusion tables, view Fusion tables, view and manage data. You say, yes, that is great. I accept. And so now the application has run its authorization and is authorized to connect. So now we should have the ability to run syncs manually. But what we want to do is make sure that every time someone adds new content to the spreadsheet, that it does the sync. And to do that, we have to add a trigger. And we do that up here, Current Projects Triggers under Resources. And it says no trigger set up. Click here to add one. So what we're going to do, we're going to say run a script called onFormSubmit. And onFormSubmit is actually a method inside of this script. The event should be from spreadsheet. We want that to run when a form is submitted to it. And then we're good to go. It's also a pretty good practice to have a sync process run once an hour, every hour. Every time the sync runs, it goes in and makes sure that all of the data in the spreadsheet is synced up with all the data in the Fusion table. And if you've changed anything manually in the spreadsheet, sync will make sure that that data is replicated, successfully removed, added, what have you, in the Fusion table. So we'll say save. You can also, in triggers, if you want to, add a notification. And you can just say, send me failure notifications immediately if you want to, daily, but it will send it to the Google email account, the Gmail account associated with this. I'm not going to do that in this case, but you can if you want to for any of these triggers. So we say save. And so now, if we've done everything right, everything should work. So let's try to submit our form and see what happens. If we look at our Fusion table, we can see right now we have Charleston, South Carolina listed. I'm going to come back into my form, and I'm going to say Dallas, Texas, and submit. That should show up right away in my spreadsheet, and it does. You can see we have a new column here called row ID. That is something that has been put in by our script. That's a very good sign. It uses these row IDs to verify uniqueness. So whenever it does a sync, it uses those to verify that it has actually synced them. So if we come back in here and reload, we see Dallas, Texas, and we now see our location, right, which is great. So all we need to do now is create a map. So I'm going to come to this little plus, say add a map. We're going to configure the map based on the location. And we should be in Dallas, Texas, and we are in fact in Dallas, Texas. Let's go ahead and add another piece of data just so we have something a little more interesting. We'll say Boston, MA. Come back in. Look at our rows. There's Boston. Come back to our map. And if we zoom all the way back out, there's Boston. Now you may notice that Charleston has not been synced up. That is because that data existed before we started the sync process, so it really doesn't know how to deal with that. It doesn't know how to reconcile it. So we can come in to our spreadsheet and just remove that. And we'll come back into our script and we will run sync. And that cleans it up. Now, what if there's a problem? This almost always works, but if it doesn't, you can always come in and view the logs, right? And you can see there's some information here about what the column names are, what the content is coming through, and most importantly, if something fails, the error message will appear in the logs. So that will tell you a lot about what you need to know to make it work again. So once you have this map, you can customize it any way you want to. You can come out to any zoom level you want to, and then you want to publish it. Well, actually, you can also do a heat map if you want to. This is not a very interesting heat map because there are only 2 points, but you can have multiple maps. You can add another map and make that one the heat map if you want to, or whatever you want to do. We'll keep it with the feature map. You can change what appears. Right now you see the timestamp, where are you located, and the location. If you want to change that, you can just come into change info window and just change. We don't want to show the location, and we don't want to show the timestamp. We just want to show what the user actually entered, and now it says Dallas, Texas, which is great. We can change that text if we want to. I believe we've got to go to custom to do that. We can just change that to location, and that's a little bit more polished looking. Great. Okay, so let's say done. That's what our map looks like. We're going to come up to publish under tools, and let's see, we'll change the visibility so that anyone with the link can view it. And say done. And so now if we publish it, we can take this link or this iframe link. We can customize how it looks. But if we come to a new tab and paste it in, you can see we have our map. And as we continue adding more and more data points, our map will have more and more points appearing on it. Again, it does take a few seconds usually for the new data points to appear. If we refresh, there it is. Again, it can take a minute or two for it to actually appear. So hopefully you found that tutorial useful and easy enough to follow. There are a lot of moving parts of this process, but if you follow along, it's actually not too complicated to get a really interesting, really useful, and really fun feature created for your website. Thank you.